Okay, we got our first game against Victoria's Secrets. Historically not a super strong team. They have a few good players, and their goalie is also really strong. So pretty even matched, I would expect. But first things first, we see a little tumble on the other team. What is going on there? But alright, we got David, Justin carrying in, other Justin, and Kev starting off. So we see opening face-off. As usual, we usually kind of just watch the first shift to see if anything exciting happens. Usually things our first tumble of the Tumblebee by Carrie-Ann knocks it off season with a big one there. Oh, that was a cheeky little pass in front of Cliff, and Cliff had no reaction at all. First reaction here, that is very this is the ultimate straight line of straight line hockey. We got Carrie-Ann coming down the side, we got David coming down the middle, we got Justin coming down the side, we got, I don't know, left wing, center, right wing perfectly, and they just follow a straight line. We got a straight line positioning all the way across, straight line positioning all the way across. We got straight lines going everywhere, straight lines this way, straight lines that way. We're playing checkers. The only thing I would suggest is, who's Carrie-Ann going to pass to? Nobody. I think we got to go back to basics. Remember, we should be forming up little triangles to help each other out for passes, and then funneling pucks towards the net rather than hoping, praying to the Lord of hockey where pucks bounce off the goalie and then we bang in rebounds. Not really my preferred way of playing. So what would we do a little bit differently here? Perhaps we could consider, the onus is a little bit on both of the forwards that don't have the puck on reading each other. So on one hand, if Justin sees David is crashing the net, then he could slow down and opt to shift over to the left hand side. So what that would kind of look like is, from here, rather than continuing along towards the net, Justin just tucks in behind this player and eventually would end up a little bit roughly in this area. Or alternatively, if Justin is the one that's driving the net, then David can be the one that slows down, either opting to float in behind Carrie-Ann or kind of just slowing down and staying in this area. Those are some options. You know, there's many ways of doing this, but that's kind of some examples. What they're doing right now is, Justin's probably never going to get the puck in a million years, and then Dave's also in a pretty tough spot to get the puck. And ultimately, it doesn't even matter as she kind of, defensively, they bump it off. But again, still, we're kind of all clumped up. Not really any good passing options. Justin may have been better served once he rings that around, just following it along, being that passing option here, because we already got 1 to 2 players roughly around the net, so we don't really need 3. Again, right, we're throwing pucks towards the front of the net, but it's tough to get anything, and it kind of just stems from not forming little triangles. We are able to rim it around the boards a little bit, so that part's good, but ultimately, yeah, some thoughts there on opening shift. Alright, so this kind of segment coming up right here, I wanted to highlight, so we're okay on the triangle here. I think right here, I probably should have gone over here with seeing how Dave's back was turned. If he had firm control, was able to look up, I felt this is pretty open. Ultimately, what I wanted to point out was when Dave turns around and opts to skate up the wall like this, and then Kevin's coming across. Carry on, this is probably a good time to shift from left side of the ice to the right side of the ice, in my opinion. So shifting from here, going to here, we can form triangles on the right side of the ice. I like to, again, my opinion is overloading one side of the ice. So we cut that ice in half. If the puck is on the right hand side, I like to suggest shifting most of the forwards over onto the right hand side, and then if the puck is on the left hand side, we want to shift most of the forwards on the left hand side. And then the other mistake, I think, in my opinion, is the moment, Dave, you were here, excellent spot, you bumped it up to Kev, and then you cut across to in front of the net. I don't think that was the play, as we got, Carrie Ann likes to stay on the left side, and then I think I also was starting to branch out. And so Kev doesn't have any passing options anymore. We could argue we wanted someone in the net front for a screen. That's a possibility. However, if, let's say, they close off the lane, they kind of close off the lane, and then if maybe a player was here so he can't pass across, now he doesn't have anybody to pass back down to down low, and so that, I think, is going to create some problems. Block shot. So definitely put Kev there in a bit of a pickle. Again, of course, he could have opted to, in this situation, skate down. That's totally an option, but I think the key focus here is we didn't have anybody for him to pass to, and that is probably a mistake. Alright, here's a good example of how to make life miserable for them on the breakout. Number one, gap control. If we're staying relatively within 1 to 2 stick lengths of any forwards, any passes that go there are going to be a tough cookie. And then the other way of getting a nice forecheck, back check is if we can press them, and by angling them off into the boards onto one side of the ice and preventing them from sending cross ice passes like so, then what happens? Life is miserable. Pass, interception, boom, back the other way. And then here we have our first audition of the Tumblebees Got Talent. Dangle, cuts across, tries to go to Forsberg, but the goalie says no. I think here's another example. We are defaulting to a really crash the net style. I don't know if long term that's the way to go. Our brand that we've been building in the Greenhorns have been really a lot of passing, not so much grit. Maybe we're defaulting to this because it's a faster game in the summer, quite frankly, for us. So here's an example. Instead of Dave, Justin passes it up to Ernest, perfectly fine, and now it's clear cut. We're gonna be expecting a shot to the net, and we have 1, 2 in front of the net, and then Justin's now driving the net. 3 in front of the net. I don't know. I feel like it's overkill in my opinion. And let's say Ernest gets charged up there and he gets the pass is blocked, the shot lane is blocked, and then so if his only passing option is to send it back down low, I think I would prefer to have somebody here in the half wall in the corner, someone to receive it easily rather than him doing a hard rim down and then someone has to get up from the front of the net and drive towards it. Yeah, so I mean, like 2 players, fine. One on the high tip, one on the back door for rebounds, but I think 3 might be it's a bit overkill, and it kind of makes life probably a little bit tougher to get pucks through because the center is probably going to attach to the center, the D is going to attach to the winger, and if we add 1 more, we got 6 bodies in front of the net. Seems a bit crazy for a typical 5-on-5 hockey, but yeah. So continuation of it, mad scramble, right? Lots of bodies in front of the net, pucks bouncing everywhere. It's definitely a greasy style of hockey. Ooh, Justin with the pickpocket right there. Kathy is kind of there, picks it up. What? Okay, I got a roaster for that. So Justin just picks it off, perfectly fine. We are really close to each other right here, so make use of the space that we're being given. We can back up a little bit here, certainly. And what I got a roaster for, Justin just falls down. He's just recovering right here, and Kathy has now got the puck. There is not even a single person close to her vicinity. The closest people is the ref and Justin, who's just getting up off the ice, and she sends it to him behind the net. Why? Let me say it one more time. Why could you not skate it towards the middle, maybe funnel some pucks towards the net, look for a pass to Dave? Could we not come up here, circle around, skate around the circle, look for better options? Why would you send it behind the net? What are you doing? What's going on here? Even Ernest is coming up to join in on the fun, which I think I've made some comments before. The D on the side of the side with the puck typically may want to stay on the boards to hold that blue line, and then the preference would be Liam to come down and be the aggressive player. But the key thing remains still. We got the space. Okay, a little fun thing to poke at. She passes it, and then she decides to, hey, why don't I join in the party where all these players are coming to hang out with Justin to jam out together and behind the net, rather than hanging out by the ref where all this open space is. And Justin sends it back to where you could have been with all the open space. And we give a turnover, but Ernest keeps it in. So excellent job by him. But Kathy, what was that? Actually, here was a perfect example. I said, we mentioned on the right side Ernest being the one where the puck is. We probably don't want to cut in and join in on the fun, being the one that's going to be holding the boards. And here's an example where Justin is holding the boards, and then the weak side D, so Kevin on this side. In this case, we cut the ice in half, pucks on the left side, so the right D doesn't need to be on the board, so they can join in on the fun. They can opt to do a lot of things. They can be in the middle, they can start to come down low, they can sneak behind the back door. It depends on what the winger is giving them. So for Ernest, and then in this case, they're giving you that high slot, and so why don't we take it? Backdoor pass, couldn't quite get there, but that's an example. I think quick little example, Carrie Ann is behind the net on that corner, perfect triangle formation right here, and I noticed, so she couldn't quite get the puck there, but then she stops going across, and it seems like there is a inherent thought, and I don't know, a switch perhaps, that because she's left wing, she is I don't know, it seems like once there's that line has been crossed, she cannot cross to the right hand side of the ice, and I think that is a switch. I think if she's able to kind of break, it will elevate a next level of her game. Again, on offense, my opinion, everyone on the ice can be free to move to anywhere on the ice, but keeping in mind some certain kind of key principles. Someone's got, if a D comes down low, someone's got to fill in for them. The forwards, there are no limitations, left side, right side, in the middle. We just need to form little triangles. If what the situation needs is you need to go as a left wing on the right hand side, go to the right hand side. If you need to go all the way to the right hand boards, go all the way to the right hand boards. It doesn't really matter. Positioning is more, in my opinion, for defense, because you can have some expectation of where you should be, but on offense, You know, you gotta have, I think if we can work towards having completely positionless freedom, it's gonna elevate our games to the next level. Here's an example of a little bit scrambly. Justin gets the puck and then tries to do a fancy behind the pan pass to Dave. I understand it. He sees Dave roaring up, and then he tries to do a behind the back pass to him. Now, it's been a few times in the past that he's being caught with a turnover there on those blind passes, and there's a couple ways I think we can suggest to fix this. Number one is we could say, hey, there's a lot of space, Justin, you can just obviously skate it up yourself. But, okay, if he's concerned about speed, that's a genuine concern, and we obviously see Dave's coming up with a good amount of speed. So the one way you fix it is, rather than hucking it up the middle where you know for sure this guy's going to be shadowed to oblivion by at least one person. In this case it's 3, so that's even more unfortunate, and they just get an easy turnover. Is rather than hucking up the middle, lead the pass off the boards, and Dave can skate it up that way, because we know for sure that there's no forwards over there. So rather than hucking it up the middle, if you just boop, bounce it off the boards, Dave can easily read that and skate it off and skate into it, and that'll be a much easier play, and he can still continue that speed rather than up the middle where lots of pressure. And number one, the only one of the reasons you probably are hucking it up like that and not carrying it yourself is you're reading, oh, there's maybe 1 to 2 players pressuring me, and I want to get rid of it. And so, yeah, here is the example, and I think bouncing it off the boards will probably be a better setup for Dave to skate into it and continue that speed, other than taking it up yourself. And in typical Tumblebees fashion, boom, tumbles galore. Dave comes in, coming like a wrecking ball, takes out Carrie Ann. She does a pirouette spin, banana peels everywhere. Oh my god, this guy also does his best impression as well. What's going on here? Turns around. Whoa! We got ballerinas on the ice. This is wild. We got another edition of Tumblebees Got Talent. Dangles 1, dangles 2, sends it across cross, crease, pass to Justin, one-timer-ish. Not, I think that was catch and release. Catch and release. The goalie reads it like a chilled book and makes the stop. Off face off. Little turnover by the other player. Boom! Rocket pass on the back door. Forehand shot, redirect by Carrie Ann, and makes the save by the goalie. Again, I think face-off draw, and Carrie Ann has a... Okay, I guess she's trying to close off the boards. That's okay. Yeah, I was wondering why you were beelining all the way out to the left side, but you know, in this case it works out. Very interesting. Very close. Could have been our first goal. I tell you what, man, Liam has mastered the art of appearing like he's out on a Sunday stroll. He took 5 business days to register that pass. Doesn't even consider walking the blue line at all. And then the follow-up was even better. Just Sunday stroll, coming back down, casually passes it off to Ernest. Oh my god. Calm like a cucumber. It's somehow highly effective. And here we start the second period, and not to be outdone by Kev, Justin says he wants to audition for Tumblebees Got Talent, goes, and then with high speed loads up a shot, boom, rocket, but just a bit outside. Aim for the corner, hits the glass instead. Another example coming up here where it just seems like Carrie-Anne, you're afraid to cross. There is literally a imaginary line in the middle of the ice, and just watch, she'll never cross it. She never crosses it, even starting from like here. There's like a wall. Fascinating. Yeah, I think that's going to be the switch. Little highlight, I guess, as well with our keys to positionless hockey. Number one, if we can not like kind of find that switch in our brain to be able to go left to right, right to left, doesn't really matter. And in this case, defenses decide to opt down and pinch, and we just make sure someone falls back and covers for them. It doesn't matter who, it could be the center, could be the winger, could be the left winger for the right D. Just as long as someone's covering for them, and then if they fall back, we go back in. Simple as that. Positionless hockey, that's what we're going to be aiming for. I think here's an example of pushing the pace too early. We got David gathering the puck, going behind the net, perfectly fine. So our D is able to see this. Hey, we got to go for a change. We got it settled, no problem. Blah 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 blah. And Dave's our center, and I think our preference would be he's carrying up the puck with the wingers. So buy some time for our guys to come back. And I think he's pushed the pace a little bit too early. Our D hasn't even gone for a change yet, and he's ripping up passes for a big stretch. Yeah, I don't know. Seems a little bit risky. And then let's say Kathy is able to get it. She's going to be in Lonely Island. A D's back there, another D's back there, and our players are all our forwards. Well, one's behind back behind the net, and then I mean, let's kind of rewind here. I think Justin was low down helping everyone out. So she's gonna be out there, Lonely Island, 1 versus 3. Maybe our defense is coming in on the rush, but yeah, maybe a little bit more patience would get a better attack, rather than turning the puck over. All right, I thought this play was pretty funny. I think I get the idea. We got Kathy driving the net, and I think the intention is a little lob pass to get her on the back door to tap it in. But visually, it looks so dinky and it looks so silly, because from here, Justin skates in and it looks like his controller just turns off. Complete statue from from here to here. And then the little pass just looks so dinky that it bounces off the guy's pants. But I think the intention is this. Visually, I think that's what it looks like. Alright, and following up after that, it was a kind of a confusing play. We know Ernest loves to rip shots, and from the view on the bench, he had the sea was split like there was Moses parting the Red Sea. He had an excellent lane. We got double tips along the lane possibilities, and he opts to pass it to Dave along the goal line. Call it confusing. I will call it confusing. Historically, Ernest likes to shoot it in people's pants. In this case, there's no pants to shoot at, and he decides to pass it in the corner. Yeah, I'll leave it like that. This play right here, we can sense the stress levels on the bench going a little higher. We got Liam on his casual Sunday stroll, and this guy looks like he's pumping legs for days, going for his 100-meter sprint against Usain Bolt. And then Liam just casually backhand passes it back up. And then yeah, actually I remember this. I don't know if it was Justin or Liam, Kevin on the bench. He's like, Liam, where are you going? It was an interesting play. We got a backhand pass, one touch pass back. That was certainly a little stressful there, 2 in a row. Alright, right after this, we can see Ernest grabs the puck. And my question is, what's the deal with us wanting to do all these hero stretch passes? I think a good 60-70% of them are resulting in turnovers. Why can't we just do simple passes and skate it up? Yeah, I don't know. What's the deal with this big stretch pass to Justin? And then it's a turnover. It's kind of disappointing, to be frank. Unhappy with his first addition attempt, Justin comes in roaring with speed, toe drag. I don't know, there's too many dangles there that I can't even keep up. Boom, pulls it out. Toe drag, pulls it across. I don't know, was it a backhand attempt? I can't tell. Brings it back across, circles back around, slightly bumps in the boards. But there was dangles galore. I could not even keep up. My eyeballs are too slow. And then right after that, we got our first goal coming up. We got a bit of a triangle forming up. I'd say maybe Alex too close. I gotta nitpick some things before the goal. Why not, right? So first comment right here is Alex is in a really excellent spot. Like this whole area, let's make it even bigger. This is prime time, right? This is prime time. I like this spot because people forget about you, but still pretty good spot to shoot from, right? So we'll make this whole area as possible options. And Alex decides to say, hey, why don't I go all the way over here to below the face-off dot so I can have a really terrible shooting angle. Why? I don't know. While there is just this plethora of space that he could take. Okay, but nonetheless, he eventually kind of gets to an open spot. But Kevin's like, nah, I'm going to take this puck and put it in myself because I'm sick of your shit, Alex. And now we get our first goal, 1-0. I was roasting Ernest about it, but I think it's only fair I roast Kev about it. The hero stretch pass, we got the sauce over double sticks, possibly to Carrie Ann. Unfortunately, is it an icing? Yes, it is. Versus why not just, Alex is a good option, I think. Maybe 14th close there. Yeah, I mean, if Alex doesn't look like a good option, and Mike and Carrie Ann are off to Narnia, we could always just send it back to Justin, and Justin send it up to Carrie Ann. I don't know. Things can open up. But we opt for the hero stretch, and it goes for an icing. We got ourselves our first recorded tumble from our newest members. Oh man, that was a big one. We got, who put those banana peels there? We got, oh my god, got the stanky leg going on, skates flying up. Goodness gracious, he's still down. And then he's back up. And then upcoming, we got the Battle of the Titans. Their number 1 comes in, backhand shot. Cliff makes the blocker save. Kev gathers it up, comes up with speed. Hustle, hustle, hustle. Their number 1 says, oh no, this guy's hustling. He's hustling. They're so fast, the camera can't even catch up. There was slashes galore, bing bong, stick lifts, lumberjacks. Everything was going on. Anything to shut down Kev, even though Kev can't score right now, right? We're up, tie game, don't even remember. We're up, so we can't do anything. But, yeah, we got the Battle of the Titans right there. We got attack coming in right here. Kathy opts to circle around, passes to Alex, tape to tape, I don't mind that. I think one comment is for Alex. He sets up shop, notices a player there, right? And he lifts up his stick instinctively. I think the only comment is the moment he saw that player there is probably his cue to create some level of separation. So if you know the player's there, back up a little bit, you know, create yourself a little bit of gap so that when you get the pass, the guy is not in front of your face, right? That's one thing I would say you may want to consider. And then a little bit later on, right here, I think an interesting decision by Alex to shoot basically where a defender shoots. You don't have any pressure on you. I think that goalie's going to see that shot all day, every day. I think if you're able to, a lot of space to work with, you can bring out to the right a bit and then rip it at least at the top of the circle. So, you know, that ringette line, unless you're really confident you got a rocket of a shot, you know, try to take every advantage that you can get a little bit closer. You're not challenged at this moment yet, so no reason to shoot it just at that moment. I thought this play was pretty funny coming up, so I get a pass from Ernest, and I thought for sure someone's gonna be with me. I look up, I just see there is a whole garbled mess at the door, lineups, and I'm panicking. I'm like, who the hell do I pass to? I don't even know. And I didn't even see Ernest at the corner of my eye, unfortunately. I think that would have been an excellent passing option, and then he can come in and take a shot. So I was I was panicking. I'm like, who the fuck do I pass to? Nobody's there. And then I eventually lost the puck. What a shame. I think hindsight 2020, of course, that's the whole benefit of video review, is there's a lot of space on this right side, and even behind the net. Definitely it was a mistake coming to the middle if no one's with me. So I think just a tight turn down here and just buy a lot of time for people to come in would have definitely been the play. But yeah, mistakes were made. I thought this was also pretty funny. Chip up by Justin. Carrie Ann does a good job staying onside, but then puck's crossed. She could have definitely put the pressure on this player, but opts to turn back around. Fortunately, Justin gets a good interception, looks for an option, boom, pulls it across, tries to go for the cheeky backhand, doesn't quite get it, but that was pretty silly. Alright, Mike's got some greasy grinder forechecking in him. I think he would be a very pretty effective forechecking winger. Like, stick him on wing and just let him loose on the forecheck. It would be pretty crazy. That one looked a little sketchy. What happened here? So Ernest did not catch 14 cutting across behind him. Yeah, too busy puck watching. Gotta have the eyes. Gotta be scanning at all times. Like, when does he? So he's in front of him. Puck watching. Boom, should have caught this. Yeah, okay. So didn't quite catch 14 sneaking up behind him, and could have been a breakaway pass right there. That was a pretty slick pass straight up the middle. Alright, we've got a little bit of an uh-oh spaghetti-o situation going on here. Let's kind of break it down. So I think we kind of touched upon gap control a little bit earlier. If we can make life miserable, staying 1 to 2 stick lengths away from forwards, it would be the ideal situation. Make life miserable for them if the pass is going to be coming. And number 2, we didn't touch upon is, but as a reminder, is this blue line is really kind of like that, I guess, battlefield, right? You want to prevent them from crossing the blue line, make them make extra moves, this and that, dangles, dekes, or force them to dump the puck, because any mistakes along the blue line, you can easily force an offside. And yeah, we can clearly see Ernest is, that gap is way off. And then here's an example where we kind of slightly killed the play. Clear offside for 3 of them. You can buy some time there. So eventually this player comes down, splits like the D. That's fine, but if we were able to kind of maintain a little bit of a closer gap, this wouldn't have been a problem. We got some backups right there. But because Ernest is all the way down here by the hash marks, 99 can just skate straight down. And the other problem is, because of that, the only way that we're going to close a gap is Ernest has to skate towards 99, and there's no way of surfing. So eventually 99 can just go, hey, this guy's skating towards me, I can go left, I can go right. Pretty easy decision. Splits the D and then gets a nice shot off, right? Cliff makes a save. But that is kind of how that play develops. Alright, we've got the play from the other team that's going to be resulting in a goal against. We can watch it and kind of break down what we could do to prevent something like this. Alright, so disgusting snipe, absolute rocket, far side corner. But what can we do to break it down? What can we do to have made life miserable for this player? So number 1 is Kathy tries to put a little bit of pressure on him, forcing him to one side of the ice, and he outskates her perfectly fine. And we can see the intention is trying to drive him to the right side. Now if we are able to read that a little bit better, it's just going to be all kind of body positioning where we're trying to sandwich them off to one side of the ice. Would be ideal. That's going to come with experience. But unfortunately we give him space to cut to the middle, and so he has a little bit more options to work with, which is still fine. We can still kind of cut off him to one side of the ice. So now that instead of cutting him on the left side, we can cut him off to the right side. So if Dave's able to kind of funnel him this way, it's still kind of fine. We can work with that, and then one of the D can be there to stop him at the blue line. Unfortunately, the other problem is gap. We got the big gap problem, and boom, we have our D way too far back. They're off to the ringette line, and so this guy can just step in uncontested. If we had at least one person, doesn't have to be both, but at least one of the D here able to poke check at that blue line, maybe force him to make a deke, then we can force one of these players to go offside. Then that kills it right there. Unfortunately, we're so far back, and Ernest is like not even close to being able to challenge. And then for Mike, he's only able to start to challenge him at that top of the circles, where we talked about with Alex, if at the very least, top of the circles is where you release the shot. You're going to have a better chance than all the way back here, right? If we were able to challenge him a little bit earlier, maybe Cliff has some time to react. And so these are some things I think we could have done better to have prevented this goal. We got some tumbles coming up. Kathy comes in, falls over. The other lady falls over. Boom! Who put these banana peels out there? Alright, if in case anyone was wondering what happened with the guy that got hurt at the end of the game there. Ernest is out on Lonely Island. 2-on-1 situation. I guess Liam's Sunday stroll is leaving Ernest lonely there, but eventually it gets a shot off. You know, Cliff puts it aside, no problem. And what happens here? Tight turns, well, tries to turn, loses an edge, bonks his back. Doesn't look too bad, but I guess it hurts. It's time for him to upgrade his gear. I was having so much success with Dave doing the drop pass, but turns out in this case, Kathy was so close to me that by the time I put the puck back, her skates were already by my stick. I thought we had 3 years to work out our drop pass chemistry, Kathy. I think we need another 3 years, perhaps. Alright, I was curious as to what... Oh, that's the penalty. Alright, alright. So, their all-star comes down. Number 1, Kevin is on him. A little whack. Penalty for slashing. Yeah, I didn't recall slashing being a 4 minute. Maybe slashings are 4 minutes and trippings are 2 minutes. Yeah, that's curious. I don't recall penalties being 4 minutes ever. So maybe it's a new rule. All right, penalty kill. Most of us usually don't play on the penalty kill very often, and we can kind of work through some basics. Oh, got a little bit huggy over there. Some basics on what we want to focus on. Again, recap from our Greenhorns Day. We don't want people to have the puck very easily in this area. And to keep it simple, I usually suggest we just do a little box. It's pretty simple. The D on each side and then the forwards on each side. And then we can put a little bit of pressure on. So in this case, Dave, as being the other forward, can definitely put a little pressure on 71. And again, we're forming a little bit of a box, but we don't want to go so crazy that they can just skate around you. And again, the key focus is just trying to keep them outside the box, right? So let's watch the whole thing. There's going to be 4 minutes of it. And kind of talk. Even Carrie Ann coming in to push people around. Alright, skip to the next face-off drop. Passes it across, passes it back over, passes it back. A little bit of interesting play and ices it. Excellent. That's what we want to see. Forwards go for a change. Justin comes on with Carrie Ann. Again, trying to form the box, make life miserable in the middle is all we need to focus on. Justin tries to clear it out. That's fine. Couldn't quite get there. Alright, let's continue watching. Big stretch pass down. Sends it across. Risky. Comes down. Big shot blocked. At this point, we don't want to get caught too deep. Oh. Stick lift. Oh, that's a tumble. Hold on a second. Deked him out of his pants. Oh my god. His pants has completely left the building. Send it low, carry on. So Mike has filled in for Hillsden. And then, so Alex as the other forward on that line. Well, yeah, him and Mike are on to kill the penalty. Not much is going on. Clear it, good job. Clear it, Alex. Clear it, Alex. Clear. Oh my god, that's just disgusting. That is just, you're making me want to puke here. Oh, ew, just disgusting, Alex. We're on a penalty kill and you're gonna do that? Oh my gosh. Ugh. 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 Gross. Okay, it's cleared. Don't need to go too deep. Icing, right? Gets. Honestly, I don't even know how that goes in. That's crazy. Sharp angle. And then just over the short side. That's tough. And so penalty kill over. It's a crazy snipe. We got another audition for the Tumblebees Got Talent. Big dangles, boom, toe drags across, cuts back in, tries to jam it 5-hole, couldn't quite get it. We got bodies galore in front of the net, couldn't quite jam it in. And so we're still down 1-2, 33 seconds left. So pulled goalie, we got Justin, Liam, Kevin on center, Dave with Dave, and Carrie Ann. Oh, Dave playing point. Passes out cross. Dave keeps it in. Puck's bouncing everywhere. Liam keeps it in. Puck's bouncing everywhere. Liam goes back in. And then backhand 5-hole. Oh my god, this guy, our Sunday stroll. I don't know how he does it. Highly effective with seemingly no effort. There we go, a tie game with 11.4 seconds left to go. 2-2 tie, and I think the best part was there's no sound here, unfortunately, but I'm pretty sure it was Justin, and he lets out this loud woo, right? Absolutely echoing through the arena, and I'm certain that the other team got rattled by it, because at the end, after the handshake line, a couple of them, I'm pretty sure, let me just zoom ahead, skip ahead, who was it? I think it was like these two guys were doing, they're like, woo, right? And then, was it Liam? I think Liam was like, yeah, go fight him, man, out in the parking lot. Oh god. Anyways, that's some goofy stuff. We got a lot of tumbles today. Our newest member Justin also recorded his first tumble, and 2-2 tie against Victoria's Secrets. Didn't lose, didn't win. Both goals scored by Kevin. Cliff keeping us in the game. And now we get a 2-week break. Very sad. Very sad.